In this lesson, we're going to be taking our very first look at playing audio within a Unity game. To do this, we'll first take some time to understand the most basic tools needed for playing audio, such as Unity's audio source component. We'll also make sure we know how to add and import new audio files into our project and understand how Unity uses those files. Once we know how to import audio, we're going to dive straight into playing it back during runtime of our game. So thankfully, importing audio into Unity is nice and simple. Once you've found the file that you wish to import, you simply drag it into one of the folders within your project tab. Now, to keep things organized, we're going to be importing our files into the audio clips folder, which you can see here in the assets folder. If we open up this folder, we'll find audio files that have been converted into audio clips. As you continue to use Unity more and more, you're going to find yourself interacting with audio clips a lot, rather than traditional audio files such as a WAV file. So what is an audio clip? Well, simply put, audio clips are containers for your audio files. They're not the actual WAV, MP3 or OGG file. Audio clips simply refer to those files. Unity uses audio clips in a similar way to how a DAW uses tracks and regions. If you were to import an audio file into a DAW, cut that audio file in half and delete one of the halves, you haven't actually deleted half of the audio file. Your DAW is simply reading the original audio file and only playing back to you the first half of it. Unity's audio clips essentially do the same thing. They read the original file, make adjustments to the data it's reading if we tell them to, and then play the result back to the listener of our game. The difference is the changes you can make to your audio and audio clips. Focus more on things like compression and how to best load your files into your game. But don't worry about file formats, data compression, and asset loading methods for now. All the things we'll be looking at in more depth in later lessons in this course. For now, our goal is to simply start playing our audio back as soon as possible. So just make sure that you understand the difference between your audio files and audio clips. So let's now import some audio files and see what these audio clips look like. Now, directly underneath this video, you'll find a link which, when clicked on, will download a piece of music in the form of a WAV file called Music01. We'll use this to practice importing audio into Unity with. You don't have to use this file, of course. You can use any WAV file, it's up to you. Either way, find the file you wish to use in either the File Explorer if you're on a PC or in the Finder app if you're on a Mac. For me, the music file is in my Downloads folder, which it may also be for you. Once you've found it, go into Unity and open up the Audio Clips folder. Then simply select the audio file and with Unity open in the background, drag the file into our audio clips folder like that. Once done, Unity will create an audio clip for that file, as you can see. If we then select the audio clip, we're given some settings about it, which we can change in the Inspector tab. Most of these are import and loading related settings that we don't need to concern ourselves with just yet. But just know for now that we can preview our audio settings using the window at the bottom of the Inspector tab. First, you can adjust the size of this window or even close it completely by dragging the grey bar that sits at the top of it up and down. You can also click on the vertical line of dots on the right and you can either minimize the window or you can turn it into a floating window. You can then press the play button on the right to preview your audio. Press the loop button to loop it whilst you preview it. And if you wish, you can turn autoplay on, previewing the sound automatically whenever you select the audio clip itself. So now that we understand how to import our audio, it's time to play it during runtime of our game. And the quickest and easiest way to do that is by using a tool called an audio source. Now, an audio source is a component that we can attach to objects in our scene. We can then use that audio source to play one of our audio clips. So let's start by adding an audio source component to our practice game object. Whilst we're here, let's also disable our practice script we were using in the last 2 lessons so that it doesn't display any unnecessary messages in our console tab. To disable a component preventing it from doing anything, simply uncheck the tick box next to its name like I've done. So to add an audio source to a game object, select Add Component, type in audio source, and select it in the drop-down menu. Okay, so now let's take a look at it. Straight away, you can see lots of different playback options that we can adjust. Now, in the next lesson, we're going to dive much deeper into the audio source and learn what every single one of these options can do to our audio clips. But for now, our goal is to just get some sounds playing within our game. So first we need to tell our audio source which audio clip we want it to play for us. Now you can do this in one of 2 ways. You can either drag your audio clip into the audio clip section of the audio source like that, or you can click on the little black circle to the right of the audio clip section and choose your clip from here. Either way, select the music you imported, which for me is this one. Now to get our music to play back in our game, the only option we need to worry about is the play on awake toggle. We'll look at it in more detail in the next lesson, but for now, know that when this toggle is marked, which it is, our audio source is going to play our audio clip as soon as our game starts. Now, because we're about to play music, we want to make sure that the music loops once it has finished, to ensure that the music doesn't completely stop before the player has finished the current level or scene that they're in. So that's why we also need to make sure that the loop toggle is also marked. Now for playing basic 2D music, which is what we're trying to do, that's pretty much all you need to do. So let's now test the changes we've made by playing our game and listening for our music when it starts. And as you can hear, just like we wanted it to, the music plays as soon as the game starts. Perfect! So as you can see, both importing audio and getting it to play back is pretty simple in Unity. Now obviously this is very basic stuff, and as we progress through this course, you'll learn more about the options and settings that the audio clips provide you with once we develop a better understanding of how games actually load and process our audio. But if you're interested in learning what the options our audio clips give us actually do, you'll find some great articles underneath this lesson to help explain them and how best to use them. As we progress further through this course, you'll also learn more about triggering sounds to play using C# rather than just the play on awake and loop toggles from the audio source component. So in the next lesson, we're focusing completely on the audio source and all of the options it provides us with for controlling how our audio is played back in our games.